I know you're discouraged with our government, maybe some of the institutions that we have in there, but let me give you some hope here and some optimism. The reason why we are going to succeed is because you have people fighting for you. We have people fighting for UAP transparency who want to do the right thing. Fortunately, there's more of us than there are of the other folks that don't want transparency, and the good guys are winning. So that's the good news. And we're not gonna let this go. Now, there's a right way and wrong way to do things, and let me be very clear here. This isn't just about opening up Pandora's box. You go, boom, surprise! Here you go. Here's all the data, UFO stuff. We have to unravel this ball of yarn of 70 years, tangled 70-year ball of yarn, and possibly more, in a very careful way. Okay, we're not trying to villainize anybody. We don't want to get anybody in trouble. What we simply want to do is say, okay, let bygones be bygones. Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. Let's start now. Let's start fresh conversation with the American people on this topic. Let's be honest. Let's be forthcoming. We don't need to reveal sources and methods. We don't need to reveal nations' secrets, but we do have to acknowledge the reality of this and at least try to make correct what was made incorrect in the past, right? Basically rectify those sins, if you will, that were committed in the name of national security, which, by the way, I don't disagree, were actually made in honest efforts to protect national security at the time. So we're not trying to villainize anybody. What we're trying to do is get everybody to come to the table and say, look, folks, these are different times. The time has come to have the conversation with the American people, with the world, about a very serious topic that affects us all. And unfortunately, the longer you keep a lid on it, the more this is going to wind up really messy for everybody. So if you really are a patriot and you really want to do the right thing, now's the time to have the conversation. And so that's what we're doing.
What exactly are these congressional committees seeing in their classified briefings? Because there are people who have this theory that it's all they're hearing is witness testimony. There's no high fidelity data. There's no radar return. There's no longer videos, higher resolution videos. It's just this mind virus that has infected the American government from people like Robert Bigelow and George Knapp. And it's just, and just think of how ridiculous that is. If that is true, and I wonder what kind of cascades of errors would have to manifest for that to actually occur and how plausible that actually is. But if that is true, imagine how embarrassing that would be for the American government. Oh, what we're really dealing with is Chinese drones. But for the past 4 years, our high-level government officials are telling us there's something out there and we don't know. If I was a Chinese high-level official, I'd be like, I'm loving this, man. This is some great stuff right here. I would love every bit of it. So this, like, what are they seeing in those briefings that are leading to all this legislation and all this commentary?
Yeah, first of all, it's not mass hysteria, I can assure you. Our Senator Gillibrand, Senator Rubio, and others, Congressman Tim Burchett, Gallegos, these people aren't fools. They are highly, highly intelligent people. And believe you me, they're not going to put their political careers or butts on the line for hearsay. These people are very, very intelligent human beings. And they're also very courageous for doing what they're doing. But what are they seeing and what they're hearing is very compelling. They are getting, in some cases, certainly their staff, I know that to be a fact, are receiving high definition videos and photographs of things taken from some very sensitive platforms. On a weekly basis, we're getting new information. This week alone, we have two more very interesting incidents coming out of two different opposite AORs, areas of operation or areas of responsibility. So they're getting a lot of information is coming in fast and furious. The problem is it's still not coming in the way it should. It's still coming in bits and pieces. It's not coming in yet. You know, you think about building plumbing inside of a building, right? And you build, you construct the pipes to deliver the hot water and the cold water whenever you want. Well, the pipe work isn't yet complete. So some spigots work better than others. Sometimes you have to go to the bathroom upstairs if you want to get hot water. You got to go into the kitchen if you want to use cold water. So the flow of information, in this case, not water, but information, that pipe work hasn't been completed yet. It's still being built right now. And there's still some people trying to figure out blueprints, you know, which pipes go where and why and how. But they are getting information. And they're getting it by organizations who control these particular capabilities and platforms. They're also getting the testimony from eyewitness testimony, in some cases from the pilots themselves who actually engaged it. They're seeing the reporting and telemetry data that comes in from the executive branch, from the various disparate organizations. Because let's give you a case in point. Let's just say this is the UFO somewhere, UAP. It's not just that you have, let's say, an F-18 pilot from the Navy filming this thing. There could also be radar data from the local Air Force base that's picking up that. And then it just happens to be that there is a weather satellite that's looking at certain atmospheric conditions up above from NOAA that's picking something up. And oh, by the way, FAA air traffic control in Minneapolis is picking something up, right? And by the way, I say Minneapolis, I don't mean just as an example. People are going to say, oh, an event happened in Minneapolis. It's just caveating. You could say, anywhere, Walla Walla, Washington. And so that's what builds that layers of, that crosshatch of information that allows you then to paint a much more compelling picture and then provide the report up to individuals who have a need to know and who have a security clearance. The good thing about the SISI, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and the Senate Armed Services Committee, and then you have the House versions of that, the HPSI and the HASC. Those people are cleared. They have security clearances at the TS level, and they can be privy to that information. So they can be briefed to that information. In fact, they do have an inherent need to know, especially the oversight committees, like I just mentioned. So it's working. And no, these people aren't just getting anecdotal information. It's not mass hysteria. It's not, that we have deluded ourselves into thinking air trash or air junk or space junk is a UAP. That's somebody who's never had one of the briefings.
Watch more podcast clips now on our YouTube channel. Go to Livewire Podcast Clips and watch more great podcast videos just like this one.